When your growth creates distance, there comes a moment in your life when your personal growth begins to slowly create distance between you and the people you once felt completely connected to. At first, this separation is subtle. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly feel different. Instead, your inner world begins to shift quietly. You start thinking differently. You begin questioning things you used to accept without hesitation. You feel yourself craving peace more than noise, meaning more than entertainment, and truth more than comfort. This is the early sign of growth, and it happens long before anyone around you realizes it. But soon you begin to notice the change in your environment. The conversations that once excited you now feel empty or repetitive. The routines that once felt normal now feel draining. The spaces you used to enjoy suddenly feel too small for the person you are becoming. You are not losing interest in people. You are losing compatibility. And compatibility fades the moment your mindset evolves beyond the level of those around you. This is where the discomfort begins. Because when you grow, your energy becomes different. You start valuing things others might not understand. Things like solitude, clarity, discipline, honesty, boundaries, and purpose. And when people around you don't share these values, they start feeling distant, even if nothing dramatic happened between you. The danger in this stage is emotional confusion. You begin to feel guilty for wanting more. You question yourself, wondering if you're abandoning the people who once stood by you. You fear being judged, misunderstood, or called selfish. You feel torn between the person you used to be and the person you are becoming. But outgrowing people is not a betrayal. It is a natural part of evolution. Human beings are not meant to stay the same forever. You are supposed to change, expand, and elevate. And sometimes that means outgrowing relationships, friendships, environments, and even identities that once defined your life. Growth reveals what has been hidden. It shows you who was supporting you and who was holding you back. It shows you who genuinely cares for your progress and who prefers you staying small because it makes them comfortable. It shows you which connections are real and which were based only on convenience, routine, or familiarity. The truth is simple. As you evolve, you will naturally have less in common with certain people. Your priorities shift, your focus shifts, your expectations shift. And when these shifts become too big to ignore, distance forms, sometimes slowly, sometimes suddenly. But this distance is not a sign that you are wrong. It is a sign that you are growing in a direction that not everyone is willing or ready to follow. You are not meant to stay in spaces where your spirit can no longer breathe. You are meant to rise. And rising naturally creates distance between you and those who choose to remain the same. This is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your transformation. The emotional trap of returning to your old self. As you rise to a higher level of awareness, you will inevitably face a powerful inner pull trying to drag you back to who you used to be. This pull does not come from logic or wisdom. It comes from familiarity. The old version of you is comfortable, predictable, and easy for others to understand. But the new version of you, that version intimidates people. That version challenges old dynamics. That version demands boundaries, honesty, purpose, and growth. And those around you who are not ready to change may react in ways that trigger doubt within you. You might begin hearing subtle comments that make you question your path. People saying you've changed too much, or that you're acting different, or that you're taking life too seriously now. They may accuse you of being distant, selfish, or arrogant simply because your priorities no longer match theirs. These comments aren't really about you. They're about their fear of being left behind. Is where the emotional trap begins. When you hear these things from people you once cared about, you may feel pressure to shrink yourself, to tone down your growth so others don't feel uncomfortable, to pretend you're still the same person you used to be, to go back to habits, mindsets, or behaviors you've already outgrown just to fit in again. But returning to your old self is a silent form of self-abandonment. You begin suppressing your new beliefs. You hide your dreams so they aren't criticized. You lower your standards so no one feels challenged. You quiet your voice so others can speak louder. You dim your light so their shadows feel less obvious. And slowly, without realizing it, you disconnect from your own potential. This is the danger. When you outgrow your environment but still try to stay in it, you create internal conflict. Your soul wants to move forward, but your fears want to pull you back. You feel stuck in between two worlds. The world you are leaving behind and the world you are moving toward. And that in-between space can feel heavy, confusing, and emotional. Many people lose themselves right here. They choose comfort over growth, familiarity over evolution, acceptance over authenticity. They choose to keep the peace instead of choosing their purpose. They convince themselves that staying small is easier than facing the discomfort of standing out. But understand this deeply. You cannot build a new life with the mindset of your old self. You cannot step into your future while dragging the weight of your past. And you cannot rise while trying to remain acceptable to those who fear elevation. Your old self will always call you back. Not because it is better, but because it is familiar. Growth requires letting go. It requires trusting the unknown. It requires honoring the new version of yourself, even if no one else recognizes it yet. The emotional trap is powerful, but your spirit is stronger. You did not come this far just to shrink back into who you used to be. You are becoming someone your old self could only dream of. Stand firm. The future is calling you, not your past. The loneliness of transformation. One of the most challenging parts of outgrowing everyone around you is the loneliness that follows. This loneliness is not loud. It doesn't crash into your life dramatically. It comes quietly. It creeps in during moments when you least expect it. Suddenly you look around and realize that the people you used to share everything with can no longer meet you where you are mentally, emotionally, or spiritually. It begins with small moments. You try to talk about your new goals, but the people around you don't seem interested. You try to share your new insights, but they don't understand. You try to open up about your transformation, but they dismiss it or take it as a joke. Slowly, you stop speaking about certain things. You stop sharing your dreams. You stop opening your heart. Not because you don't care, but because you start realizing that you're speaking a language they can't hear. This is the first layer of loneliness. The feeling of being surrounded by people who no longer understand you. Then comes the second layer. You start spending more time alone. Your soul begins craving peace instead of noise. You prefer silence over pointless conversations. You begin valuing your space, your energy, and your emotional clarity. You start noticing how heavy some connections feel compared to the peace of solitude. You begin asking yourself difficult questions. Was I really happy in those friendships? Was I genuinely connected to these people, or just attached through habit? Did we truly grow together, or was I the only one changing? These questions are not easy to face. They strip away illusions. They make you confront the truth that some relationships were never as deep as they felt. Some were built on convenience, not alignment. Some were built on entertainment, not growth. Some were built on the person you used to be, not the person you are becoming. This realization hurts. It can feel like losing parts of yourself. Because in many ways, you are. You are letting go of old versions of you that those people were tied to. And that process naturally brings loneliness. But here is a truth many people never hear. Loneliness during transformation is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. It is evidence that you are breaking old cycles and entering a higher phase of your life. Loneliness is the silent period where the universe clears your path. It is the cocoon stage before the wings appear. It is the empty space where your soul recalibrates, cleanses, and prepares for a new chapter. The danger, however, comes when loneliness tricks you into believing that you need to go back. Back to old habits, back to old places, back to old people. Many people abandon their growth because the silence feels unbearable. They settle for the comfort of familiar relationships even if those relationships keep them small. But loneliness is temporary. Growth is permanent. This phase is not meant to break you. It is meant to refine you. It is creating space for the right people, the right opportunities, and the right experiences to enter your life. When your new tribe arrives, those who match your energy, respect your evolution, and connect with your soul, you will understand why this loneliness was necessary. You are not alone, you are transforming. how to accept your evolution without fear or guilt. Accepting your evolution is one of the greatest acts of courage you will ever perform. Not because growth itself is difficult, but because of everything you must release along the way. People think evolving is about building new habits, gaining knowledge, or achieving success. But in reality, the hardest part is letting go of the emotional weight that keeps you tied to your old identity. When you outgrow everyone around you, you also outgrow their expectations, their worldview, and the version of you they were comfortable with. And the moment you step into your higher self, some people will begin to feel threatened, insecure, or disconnected. Accepting your evolution requires a strength that comes from within, not from external validation. The first step in embracing your growth is understanding that guilt is not a sign of doing something wrong. It is a sign of breaking old psychological patterns. Humans are wired to stay connected to their tribe, their families, their childhood friends, their communities. So when you start rising beyond the emotional, mental, and spiritual level of those around you, your mind tries to pull you back with questions like, what if they think I've changed? What if they think I'm acting better than them? What if I lose them? But you must understand this one truth: evolution demands separation. Not always physical separation, but emotional, mental, and spiritual separation. The guilt you feel is simply your past self trying to survive, but your new self needs space to grow. The second step is realizing that your growth is not a betrayal. Many people stay small because they don't want to make others uncomfortable. They lower their tone, hide their dreams, shrink their light, or pretend they don't care about certain things just to maintain the peace. But you were not born to dim yourself. If your growth intimidates someone, that is their inner conflict, not your responsibility. Everyone has the same opportunity to grow. Everyone has the same access to healing, discipline, and direction. You choosing to rise does not take anything away from them. You are not abandoning them. You are simply refusing to abandon yourself. The third step is accepting that your journey is unique. Your path will not match your family's path, your partner's path, or your friend's path. You're walking a road that only you can walk, guided by intuition, wisdom, and destiny. You must trust that the transitions happening in your life are intentional, not accidental. When you lose people during your growth, it is not punishment, it is alignment. That chapter in your story has served its purpose. Some people teach you how to love, some teach you how to forgive, some teach you how to break, and some teach you how to rise. But not everyone is meant to walk with you into your higher self. Finally, accepting your evolution means allowing yourself to become who you truly are, even if it means walking alone for a while. The loneliness is temporary. The alignment is permanent. When you choose authenticity over approval, when you choose self-respect over comfort, when you choose growth over familiarity, you step into a version of yourself that is powerful, grounded, and unshakable. You begin attracting people who match your new frequency. You begin creating a life that reflects your values, not your fears. And you begin to understand that outgrowing others is not the danger. The real danger is staying the same just to make others feel comfortable. You are evolving because you are meant to. Trust the path, trust the separation, and trust the version of you that is emerging.